improbableprepper.com. This video here today will show how to put together a solar powered battery charger, but it's also a portable battery pack. We've got outlets on the side here. We've got USB outlets here. We've got the switches. Again, I just want to start this out saying I'm not an electrician. I'm not an engineer. I don't know, I'm not a professional in any of that at all, so I don't want to hear that in comments or anything. Just please enjoy the video. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Subscribe to my blog, improbableprepper.com, and follow me on Twitter at improbableprep. What's up, everybody? This is Aaron with improbableprepper.com. This is our portable power solar generated battery charger project. Just kind of wanted to give a quick look at all the pieces that we have to this here now. So we've got our solar panel here. It's a 20-watt solar panel. We've got our battery, our inverter. We've got a charge controller. We've got our wire, our other outlets, and then our box here. So we're going to get going here, making that solar powered generator, and we'll take you along here. Alright, so here we are getting into it. Just wanted to let you know too, if you wanted to see a whole list of the items that I'm using for this this build, you can go to my website, improbableprepper.com, if you're watching this on YouTube or anywhere else. Otherwise, if you're watching this on our website on the blog, then the list is below in the text. So here's my box here, and what I did first was actually take a piece of 1/4-inch plywood and cut it to fix the top. And so as we open it up here, I just wanted to lay out what this is going to look like. So as you see here, I've got my charge controller here. I've got my volt reader, and then I've got my master switch that'll mount right in about here. Also, I wanted to put a switch for charging to be able to turn charge off or on, and I anticipate that switch being right here. So then as we look underneath, what I'll probably do is put a pull tab here so I can easily get in underneath. But then we get into my battery, which I'll probably push in a little bit and put something up behind it here, and then also my inverter. I wanted my inverter facing this way because I kind of anticipate putting some sort of vent for ventilation or something over here just in case it gets too warm. So I wanted to lay all this out beforehand so I know how long of my wires I need to make, and just so I can get a better idea of where everything's going to lay out and what it's going to look like. Alright, so I've got everything hooked up here to my battery and my switch and my voltmeter, and then just to show you here, I hooked it up to the inverter, which obviously if we're going to do a solar powered pack here, I don't want that switch going to the inverter or the power going to the inverter, and so this would be a setup if you didn't need a solar power and you just had a battery pack and then you wanted to hook that up to the inverter. So I've got my switch here. It's a toggle switch. It's an LED light on. I got a missile type switch where you have this on top. It's got the LED. When it's flipped on, the red light comes on. To shut it, you just shut that off there. I've got my voltmeter hooked up here. So then when we flip the switch, we should get a red LED light, and then we should get the volt reading here, which we do. 12.9, that's good. And then since we've got it hooked up to my inverter, I can go ahead and turn the inverter on and show you I've got power going to the inverter with the blue light there. So now what we'll do is we'll get the solar charge controller involved. We'll get that all hooked up and show you how that got done. Alright, so I've got my gang box here wired up, and before I install it on the outside of the toolbox, I want to show you how I did it here. So as I mentioned, I just kind of made my own extension cords. Took the plug, wired it through in as you would for a normal wall outlet, and then wired it to the outlets here. We'll install it in there, and that will plug into my inverter. So then what I'll do now is take it, install it into my box like this, and then I'll put the cover over the top of it, and we should be all set to go for the electrical outlet side. Alright, so we've got the outlet and the USB mounted on the outside of my box here. I'll just like to show you kind of how that looks in there. Just flip this up. Got your outlets in there, semi-waterproof. Close that down. The USB, I'm not totally in love with how this sits right now, but there's room for 2 USB, possibly at least 1, maybe 2 more, and again, semi-waterproof. So then how it looks on the inside here, just got the gang here with the plug-ins that will go into the inverter, and then on the other side I've got the other USB 2.0 cables that will go into the inverter as well. So now it's time to hook everything up, and we'll get that done, and I'll show you how we did that. Alright, we've got everything hooked up here now, and I'll try to show you how we did that. So, as I mentioned, the inverter is the load. See, the inverter goes directly into the load of the solar charger. So from the switch, we've got a power going from the battery to the switch, out to through the voltmeter, and then into the battery positive side of the solar charge controller. Then out the negative, directly into the negative, and so on. I've got these outlets plugged in there. See if you can get in there and see how that's all set up. So let's prove that it works here. So I'll take my switch, flip it up, flip it on. You see, got a load on here. We've got the battery not fully charged at 12.8. My battery's just a tiny bit depleted. Then we go in here, turn on the inverter, which should power on the outlets, power on the USBs. My multimeter quit working, so the only way to show, so I'm just going to plug something in here, prove that it works by turning it on. Got my little rotary tool, plugging it in. It works. Alright, so now we've just got to hook up the solar, and we are good to go. Alright everybody, so we've got everything hooked up here. Let's come in and we can take a look at what the finished product looks like. So we'll open up the case here. We've got our platform here, our dashboard I guess you could call. We've got our power switch, flip that on. Shows our volt reader, it's coming in at 12.9. We've got our solar charge controller showing a battery charge and showing that we've got a load on. And then over here we've got our solar flip or charge flip switch, and then a volt reader from that also. So I'm going to flip this back up here. You can take a look at what we've got inside. So as you can see, we've got our battery. Battery hooks into, or goes through the switch, then goes into the charge controller. Out of the charge controller connects to the inverter, and then we've got the inverter that's hooked up to the outlets on the side and the USB on the side. So we'll close this here now. You can also take a look. We've got our, I can't really see that very well, 4 outlets as we showed earlier. We've got our USB over on the side. So we do have our solar panel hooked up here. Caught on something. So we'll just take a look how we got that all hooked up. On the back, It's very easy. We've just got connector here. It just slides open. Probably should have run it behind all this, but you live and you learn. So we go up through here. We've got a brace here that'll hold everything in place. We've got the positive, negative, hook it up, close it, and you are all set. So it's dark out right now where I live, but I can show you this switch here. It should read something, hopefully here. So we've got the solar switch, and I don't know really there's a reason why I did this. Probably just to measure what I can have, but ultimately my end goal is that I can charge it through my solar panel. I could charge it through a trickle charger. We can hook it up just so hook up different things to it. Right now I've just got it hooked up just solely through the solar panel, but with this switch here, you can turn that on. We're reading about 3.37 volts coming in at this time, and then that's ultimately then what will be charging the battery. Hopefully, obviously, when we get outside, that'll be a little bit higher. But really, that's it. So it's the full project. I've seen quite a few of these online. I wanted to make mine a little bit different, and so I wired it a little different, added some switches. But if you have any questions at all, if you need anything explained any further, any equipment, again, if you're watching this on YouTube, follow the link in the description, which will take you back to my blog. It'll have everything detailed out as far as what equipment I used. If you're watching this on my website then, which is improbableprepper.com, you can see the list there. Also follow me on Twitter, improbableprep. And stay tuned, sign up for my weekly email, and we will have new projects and articles coming up soon. Thanks, everybody.